Man, when I tell you, I went through about 3 stages of grief. Like I was angry, I was depressed, and then I was just I acceptance because Echo's the goat. Favorite, best and favorite character from this entire series. And watching him go through the motions. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Echo in this series is the selfless hero. He's the guy who wants to change the environment around him. I'd even say that he has a little bit of the hero tropes, such as the fact that he has a mentor, then his mentor dies, and then that pushes him to be a better version of himself, where he then gets another mentor that makes him a whole lot better, not only intellectually, but skill wise in the way in which he sees and perceives the world. And then he loses that mentor as well. The idea that we're dealing with a guy who, as a kid, he lost his uncle figure, he lost his father figure, he lost the older sister figure, he lost the crush, like that first love, and he didn't allow it to destroy him. A lot of people go through all of those tragedies at a young age, and it affects them in a really really negative way, where their view of the world in general becomes really really skewed. He didn't allow that to happen. He founded a haven in Zon, away from the smog, away from the smoke, away from the chem barons, where people would be able to go there and they'd be able to thrive. He created his own low-key vigilante organization. My man was operating like Batman in Zon, and they were keeping the people safe and keeping all of those negative elements away. But then I loved when he met Heimerdinger. Because I said it before, Heimerdinger isn't Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi is the person that, he encourages you and he moves you along to begin your journey on the hero's path. Heimerdinger is very much Yoda. He's the person that's going to forge you into the hero that you're supposed to be. And Heimerdinger opens up his eyes to all of these possibilities of the things that he could build to make his environment and the people around him better. And that is just exploded upon when they end up in the alternate timeline. And I really wish we had gotten a little bit more from Heimerdinger as to what exactly he was up to, because it felt like he was there. They gave us a number, and I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it felt like he was there long enough that he reached a point where he had kind of given up because he didn't know how to get back. And then when Ekko showed up, Ekko, once again, as he typically does, is the person that brings him hope. He's like, oh shit, my star pupil, baby. My star pupil is finally here. We'll be able to figure this thing out and go back. And then Heimerdinger's willingness to sacrifice himself so that the hero can continue his hero's journey and save the world. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Just it's the perfect cherry on top of a delicious and gorgeous sundae. We're gonna talk about that entire other just reality in general, because there's a discussion that I really want to have that's focused around Powder and whether or not we're going to be seeing her character again. But absolutely not. But to touch on a few things in regards to his time in that universe, and the fact that I said before, he's the type of person that he makes the people around him better. We really don't get to understand the personality of the Echo he was inhabiting. But it really felt as though with his arrival, it kind of breathed a breath of fresh air into the people around him. Like his uncle figure, he let him know just how important he was to him and how much he loved them. And you can see that he was kind of getting a little bit choked up, and he was like, not right now. Let's not get sappy. Let's not get sappy emotional. Don't make me start crying in here at this party celebrating like your success. But focusing on Powder in general, it really felt as though the Echo from this time is happy but complacent, where he doesn't appreciate, he might love everybody, but he really doesn't appreciate them to the degree that our Ekko does. And the reason why our Ekko does is because he understands what it's like to lose them all. So to him, they're even more precious, and he has to let them know just how important and precious that they are. But the conversations that he has with Powder, where he's like, "You don't have to be in here. You don't have to be inside of this shrine, this bat cave you've created for yourself, away from everything. You don't have to be the support. You can be the person that creates just beauty and wonders. Like you've always been smart." Like he really hypes her up. And he doesn't hype her up where like he's gassing her up. Like he's letting her know, like, you are just intelligent and brilliant, and you can do anything that you want out here. And it felt like for Powder it was a breath of fresh air coming from Ekko, where she's in love with her version of Ekko, but he's never really given her 100% of his focus and just poured his love and given her like that push to become basically a better version of herself. Like I said, he's more or less more complacent because he hasn't lost anyone outside of Vi. And that is one of the things that Ekko Powder was able to essentially appreciate from this version of Ekko, to the point that when he went back to his time, she automatically realized, okay, so him acting weird way back then had a lot to do with he was inhabiting the body of my Ekko, and he's going back to his time now that I've helped him to essentially return. And he left her that necklace, which is super dope. If you're online and you look up that necklace, the necklace has multiple meanings. It has both Ekko and Powder on it, facing opposite directions. But the flower that's behind it is, I think it's like it has some type of relation to an impossible love, where he loves her, but he can't stay to be with her because he has to continue his journey, especially now that Heimerdinger's gone and he returns back to his time, and it's right back to work. Another thing, the fact that it probably wasn't even a few seconds for him. He went from one reality where he was in love with Powder and he really wanted to stay but knew he had to go home, and came back to another reality where Jinx was trying to kill herself. And you see the damage. I want you to remember what he left his reality wearing and what he arrived in. Well, when we see him again, what he's wearing, where the jacket's gone, his clothes are damaged. I want to say he was reversing time consistently trying to save her. Do we know how many times he was doing it? No, because like he is beaten and he is bruised when he initially like resets time and brings her back. And then we just keep on seeing him take damage because he can rewind time, yes, but the little bit of damage he receives from eating the blast because he's so close kind of sort of stays with him, which is why he has like singe scars all over his body, why he's a little bit smoky because he's been eating those explosions, and then his nose starts to bleed and his face is scarred and messed up. Love that. He went from one reality where he really, really loved this girl to another reality where he realized, I still really love this girl, and I'm going to try everything in my power to save her. And he brings her back. Goes off on his final grand journey, dunks the fucking time spark on Victor's head so that Victor can have that super dope conversation with Jace towards the end. And where you would expect, and I was kind of hoping that him and Jinx would leave together. I don't think Jinx is dead, and I'm probably going to do a video talking about why she's probably not dead, and she's going to pop up in like another series probably in Noxus down the line. But I was kind of hoping that we would go back to when her and Ekko were kids and she saw the airship and she was like, I want to ride on one of these days. We see an airship flying away from Piltover and Zaun. I was really hoping that him and Jinx would be on it. No. They gave him the tragic hero's ending, which is the hero sacrifices everything to save everyone and is left with nothing for himself. like I said, grief, grief, pain, sadness, anger, all the stages I went through in regards to Ekko and his entire journey. And I know a lot of people will say that, Ekko isn't the main character, but in my opinion, he's one of the most important characters. His entire thing is doing the most you can with the least amount of time possible. And I love the fact that that theme maintains its way throughout the entire series all the way into the end. Do I hope that he's gonna get a happy ending in some way, shape, or form? Yes. I'm hoping that his powder from the other universe decides to jump over to this one, because we do see when she opens up the drawer that she has a bunch of the fragments from the shattered Hextech orb, which is hilarious that when you think about it, she knew exactly what it was that Ekko had, and she didn't tell him a damn thing about it. I have a feeling we're going to circle back to this in some way, shape, and form, where she's going to jump from that reality to this reality because she wants to meet Vi, especially since Ekko drew her the mural on the tree of how Vi was in the main timeline. But let me know what you guys think. Did you enjoy Ekko's hero journey? Are you kind of hoping that he might come back leading a series? We might see Powder and Jinx again in some way, shape, or form, that they go off on like these grand adventures, because the League of Legends skins technically have been a little bit telling, because there's a Jinx skin called the Odyssey skin, which has Jinx with, like, she looks older and she's wearing armor and she's on like an airship, and a lot of people are saying that that might be what Jinx looks like in the future if they do like a time skip and bring the characters back. I can only hope so. I can only hope that we get a little bit more Jinx and we get to go on some more grand adventures with them in the future. But let me know what you think about just Ekko's entire journey through Arcane, Jinx's journey through Arcane, whether or not we'll see Powder again. Comment down below. I'll catch you in the next one.